All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that's, well, it's one of the most exciting things happening in tech right now, autonomous AI agents. And no, we're not talking about your basic chatbot. We're talking about AI that can actually think, plan, and get stuff done all on its own. So let's jump right in.
Let me ask you something. Are you tired of doing the same repetitive tasks over and over again? I mean, who isn't, right? Sorting through emails, updating sales leads, managing those mind-numbing workflows. So much of our day feels like it should be automated. Well, that's the exact problem these autonomous AI agents are here to solve.
Now, the promise here is massive. Just imagine giving an AI a simple goal like, hey, increase our customer retention, and then just letting it go. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. Full autonomy has a hidden cost. Giving up all that control can be, well, a little scary. The AI might do things you never expected. And that brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. There's this constant balancing act, this trade-off between an agent's freedom and the human control you need to keep things on track.
So here's how we're going to break it all down today. First, we'll dig into that autonomy trade-off. Then, we'll take a tour of the AI agents that are out there right now. We'll look at the whole spectrum, from business tools to developer gear. And finally, we'll even talk about how you can build your very own agent.
All right, first up, the autonomy trade-off. Before we get into all the cool tools, we really have to get our heads around this core concept. It's all about finding that sweet spot between AI magic and human control. So what are we actually talking about when we say autonomous AI agent? Look, it's way more than just a chatbot that follows a script. Think of it like this. A chatbot is like a cashier who can only answer specific questions. An autonomous agent is like the store manager who you give a goal, like increase profits, and they figure out everything else. Inventory, staffing, marketing, the whole deal. It can plan, it can adapt, and it works on its own. It's a game changer.
And you can really see the difference when you put them side by side. Your traditional AI, it's got some autonomy, sure, but for pretty simple stuff, and you got to check in on it constantly. But these autonomous agents, it's a whole different league. They're built for complex, multi-step plans with almost total freedom, and they're designed to change course on the fly.
So what's the secret sauce here? It really boils down to 4 key things. First, they're goal-driven. You don't tell them how, you tell them what. Second, they can do multi-step planning to break down massive goals. Third, they adapt to what's happening around them. And maybe the most important part, they can use your tools. They can plug into your CRM, your database, whatever, to actually get things done.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get to the good stuff. It's time for a tour of the AI agents that are out there in the wild today.
You know, the market for these things isn't just one big mess. It's more like a spectrum. On one end, you have super user-friendly no-code tools that anyone can use. Then in the middle, you get these highly specialized agents built for specific jobs, like for lawyers or salespeople. And then way over on the other end, you've got the really powerful stuff, the developer infrastructure for building whatever you can imagine.
And this spectrum really does cover everybody. You've got your business-ready tools like Lindy AI for folks who aren't coders. Then you have enterprise tools like Harvey AI for specialized pros, lawyers for instance. And then for the developers and IT teams, you have the heavy-duty infrastructure like Claude Code.
Okay, let's dive a little deeper now. We're going to look at a few of these specific agents to really see what they do and who they're for.
Let's start with something for the business users, Lindy AI. Think of this as your perfect starting point. It's a no-code platform, which means you can build simple agents just by dragging and dropping. You don't need to be a programmer. You just tell it what you want in plain English, and it helps you build it. It's that easy.
And what makes Lindy so great is how simple and focused it is. The setup is super beginner-friendly. It's fantastic for things like customer service and lead nurturing, and it plugs right into more than 100 tools you're probably already using. For any business that wants to get into automation without a huge technical headache, this is a great place to start.
Okay, now let's get a bit more specialized. Meet Harvey AI. This is a perfect example of an agent built for one specific, very complex field, law. Harvey isn't trying to be everything to everyone. It's designed from the ground up to understand the legal world. We're talking compliance, due diligence, the really tricky stuff.
And this quote really says it all, doesn't it? In-depth legal expertise that generic AI agents can't match. That's the key. When the stakes are incredibly high, you can't just use a generic one-size-fits-all tool. You need an expert in the room, and that's what Harvey AI is for the legal field. And now for the really high-end stuff, over on the developer side of the spectrum. Let's talk about Claude Code.
Now, this is not just another coding assistant that helps you write a line or two. This is an agent that can take a simple request, in plain English, and then handle the entire software development task. The planning, the coding, the testing, the whole shebang. The power here is just incredible. We're talking about an agent that writes high-quality code with documentation. It can actually reason its way through complex development challenges. And because it integrates with tools like GitHub Actions, it can fully automate the deployment pipeline. This is huge. It lets developers step back and focus on the big picture while the agent cranks out the code.
Okay, so Lindy, Harvey, Claude, these are all amazing pre-built tools. But what if they don't quite fit? What if your business process is just different? What if you need something that no one has built before?
Well, that brings us to our last section. It's time to talk about building your own agent. This is where you take back control and create something that's perfectly suited for your needs.
And this is where platforms like NNR are a total game changer. They give you the building blocks, the Legos, if you will, to construct your own agent. And the best part? You're in charge of that autonomy trade-off we talked about. You decide exactly when the AI gets to think for itself and when it needs to stop and get a human to sign off. It's the power of automation, but with you in the driver's seat.
And honestly, it's probably easier than you think. You just start with a trigger, say a new email comes in. Then you drop in an AI agent node. You give it the tools it needs to do its job, like access to your database or APIs. And then, and this is the key, you add those human checkpoints anywhere you want a person to have the final say. It gives you complete control.
So let's wrap this all up. The big takeaway here is to see the world of AI agents as that spectrum. You've got your business-ready tools for when you need to move fast. You've got specialized agents for when you need deep expertise. You have developer infrastructure for heavy-duty automation. And finally, you have custom builds when you need ultimate control. The best option for you? It just depends on what you need and how much control you want to keep.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you've seen what's possible, think about your own work. What is that one repetitive, annoying task, the first one that pops into your head, that you would automate if you could? What's the thing that, if it was gone, would free you up to do the work that really matters? Because that's the real power of these agents, and it's not science fiction. It's here right now. Thanks so much for tuning in.